Okay, guys, so I wanted to make a quick video on how to come up with a bunch of tweets in the least amount of time. So that is the goal of this video, and kind of like conceptually understand how to create tweets at scale that still go viral. So it's very easy to write tweets. Let's say like the goal is to get to like 1,000 tweets. It's like very easy to just prompt ChatGPT and say like create 1,000 tweets. But the issue with this is that the information that ChatGPT has, it doesn't have enough context of what's currently going viral and what like all of the relevant niche specific stuff. So that's the issue where you can create a lot of tweets, but they won't go anywhere just because it doesn't have the right real time data of what's already going viral, right? So this is like very bad approach, and this is just creating a bunch of spam that doesn't drive any results. So I guess that's the other thing to go over, which is like what is like the ultimate goal of writing more tweets, and it's not to get followers, it's not to get more likes, it's to drive traffic from Twitter or X onto our software, and then they will purchase the software. So that's the entire point of this entire exercise. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste of time. So that's the goal, which is we want to generate a ton of traffic that are relevant for a small percentage of people that will find it useful, so that they will buy our software. So here is how we should think about writing tweets overall. So essentially, with a lot of tweets, what will happen is that there is a certain structure that we follow that allows the tweet to go viral. And sometimes a certain structure will do really well in a niche. Otherwise, or other times, maybe there's other structures that still do really well. So the point that I'm trying to get at is like when we're trying to find tweets that go viral, like all we're trying to do is decompose the tweet that went viral into a structure so that we can spam it over and over. So I will go over one example that went viral. So basically, as a side note, you can download this app called SuperX, and you can see all of the tweets that gone viral in the past 90 days, right? So this one recently gone viral, and what I did is I just went to Claude and I told it to create the template for this tweet, make it into a template that we can recreate into 100 variations. So this is like the most important part. So what it did is that it took the tweet and then it broke down the template structure. So you can imagine that even though this is in the local SEO niche, we can redo this over and over for other niches, and we can do it again in the same niche, but for smaller, for different pain points, for different benefits, and so on and so forth. So you can see that the template is like this. So it has a hook, it has contrast, it has a promise, the line bookmark this, and then the different steps, right? So what we can do is we can take all of our customer survey data. So we ask them like, what is your biggest pain point? So what we can do is we can take this format and then write hundreds of tweets from customer data into the tweets. That way, it's not only personalized, but we have a very structured way of taking customer data and take it and bring it over to content that is going viral. So that is how you take a tweet and successfully recreate it and have more and more content for it. So basically, I think a good workflow, and obviously we can iterate with this, but just off the bat, like here's what I would do. Like let's say the goal is to get to 10,000 tweets, right? So this is a ton of tweets. So what we can do is let's say for every template we have 100 tweets. So we can just simplify it in that we only need 100 templates. So 100 templates times 100 tweets, that is 10,000 tweets, right? So it makes it a lot more manageable. So how do we get to 100 templates? So what we can do is we can look through our tweets that went viral, and maybe there are 20 formats that we already have, and we can reuse these. Then the other way is that, let's say we just go on Twitter and we find tweets that have already gone viral. So one example is just scrolling the For You page. So you scroll this and then find viral tweets that look good, and then you use their formats. The other way is you search for specific keywords. So let's say I'm searching for ecom. I search ecom here, and then I will find like tweets like this that got 14K views. It's not that viral, but it's like a good format. So obviously the goal is to find like 80 more formats, and then the way that we can organize it is in Notion. We can have a huge database of tweet formats or tweet structures, and this allows us to easily just copy and paste and reuse these across all of our accounts. So this is like a high level way of why this works and how we can scale it. And then just riffing off the bat, like how do we improve this format, right? So every every like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we have to go over all the formats that are still working and not working, and then just update it. Every week, what we can do is we can have a constant refresh of formats that are already working, or every week we just find more formats that work. So the biggest thing about going viral is that maybe at a certain time and point, there are formats that do really well. So we want to constantly be refreshing what is viral, or we want to constantly refresh the formats that are working. The maybe some other ways of getting more formats is checking other platforms, right? So maybe instead of only checking Twitter, we can check Facebook, we can check TikTok, we can check Instagram, we can check YouTube, right? There's a ton of other social platforms that we can check to find the templates, or we can check other people's emails, right? So like the point of this is that we're not just trying to find tweets, like we are trying to find these structures. So like the structure is the most important part, because this allows us to create hundreds and hundreds of variations without that much work. So I guess to sum it up, like what we're trying to do is we're trying to find structures and then have a very organized way of refreshing, finding the structures, and then a organized way of creating and scheduling the final output. And then like if we're able to get this entire process down, then we can scale to a lot of accounts, and we can scale to a ton of users and people. So yeah, this is just like super high level. I think once we're like in the like weeds of doing this, like there's a bunch of ways to optimize this, but this is just like a super high level like conceptual understanding of like how we can pump out a ton of content that don't suck. So yeah, just thought I'd make this, and hopefully it will be useful.